Well, while you're here, Senator Klobuchar, we also do want to discuss the reason we originally asked you to join us this morning, and that is those provisions of the Patriot Act that are due to expire at midnight tonight. Now, the Senate is holding a rare Sunday session tonight, a Sunday night session, to try to get something passed before the deadline. Now, one scenario would be to pass the compromise bill, the Freedom Act it's called, passed the House easily. It promises to reform the Patriot Act by placing restrictions on things like the NSA's bulk data collection program. The other scenario is that you try to renew the Patriot Act, in which case the House would still need to pass something, and they're not due back in session until tomorrow. Now, in either scenario, the Senate would need to buck the opposition of Rand Paul, who is planning to force the expiration of these provisions no matter what. So, Senator, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of granular details here, but basically there is this bill that passed the House that came to the Senate a week ago, that came 3 votes shy of getting the 60 votes that it needs, that would move this bulk data collection program from the government to the phone companies. Is there any chance of that bill or something very similar to that emerging tonight or in the near future?
Well, I sure hope there is, Steve. I'm a co-sponsor of the similar bill in the Senate, led by Senator Leahy and Senator Lee. It has support from privacy experts from the left to the right. 338 members of Congress voted for it in the House, including 200 Republicans. It solves a lot of these problems. It has reforms of having privacy experts being able to call before the FISA courts. It also has more transparency so that these orders can become public. It has some really good things. And the FBI director, Jim Comey, who is my law school classmate and I trust, says he needs at least this Freedom Act in place because FBI, aside from the NSA, the FBI has used this 200 times last year. You know, we have cases in Minnesota where ISIS is recruiting people and there's indictments. So when Rand Paul is standing up and running super PAC ads for a Sunday showdown in order to raise money off this, I really do find that offensive. I am very hopeful that we'll be able to come together. I have no idea why Mitch McConnell let this go so long, but I am more than happy to come back, and I hope there's some kind of compromise. If there isn't, the Patriot Act will expire, and it'll take at least 60 hours under Senate rules to be able to get the USA Freedom Act passed. I would predict that we will at least be able to do that, but I would prefer not to have this expire tonight.
Yeah, well, so if it does expire, because that does seem the most likely outcome right now, even for a brief window of time, practically speaking, for people out there watching this and paying attention to this debate, what is that going to mean? If these provisions expire, and it's not just this bulk data collection program, it's also this lone wolf provision, it's called. Also, there's a provision that allows for wiretappings of suspects who are switching phones, who are switching to a different phone. So there's a couple of different pieces here that would expire at midnight. Practically speaking, if that happens, what will happen? What will that mean for the American people?
Well, first of all, the lone wolf provision hasn't been used, and so while I think that's important to have in there in case that happens, I think the bigger concern is on the sort of winding this down instead of having a methodical way to move forward, which we have with the USA Freedom Act. It triggers all kinds of things when you let it expire, as opposed to just letting this new program go in with some planning ahead. Remember, the data collection has to stop. There's interaction with the FISA courts, and while we can start up a new program, it would be much better to have a transition between the two and have this bill pass, which has been worked on for years and years, instead of just letting it expire. And so there's good reason to try to get this done before midnight tonight. And it is pretty crazy situation when you have 2 Republicans, Senator McConnell and Senator Rand, one wanting McConnell, the Patriot Act, to stay in place, Rand Paul wanting to have no bill at all in place, both from the same state. It's like a 2-man Kentucky Derby, and the rest of us in the country are sitting in the middle. So I'm very hopeful that some kind of cooler heads will prevail tonight and we'll be able to get this done.
Senator Klobuchar, Sahil Kapoor with Bloomberg Politics. I just wanted to ask you, knowing everything we know now, do you think, would you say with some level of confidence that we're likely to see the Patriot Act expire, given that there is this sort of logjam and we're not going to look at a quick vote? And what do you think it would take to get Senator McConnell to consider the USA Freedom Act, because he's been very against it so far?
Exactly. Well, I think those are great questions. I can't predict what can happen at the very last minute as the night goes on and the clock ticks toward midnight. We have pulled off things before at that time. I think Senator McConnell, who wants to keep some version of the Patriot Act in place, is going to have to look at the facts here. He already has 12 Republicans, including everyone from Senator Cruz to Senator Murkowski, who have voted for the USA Freedom Act. And I know there are other Republican senators that would like to do it as well. They're just 3 votes short of joining all Democrats in ending the filibuster. And so I am very hopeful that he will find some way to decide we don't want this to expire. The House has said they're not going to do an extension. So that is just not one of the things that's in the mix here. What's in the mix is passing this compromise bill that has broad support.
Hi, Senator Steve Moore here. I just have to defend Rand Paul for a minute, if I may, because I think you may have taken a little bit of a low blow at him. I mean, there is real concern, and there's a real debate, at least on the Republican side of the aisle, between this issue of national security versus privacy and versus the protection of civil liberties. And look, I don't always agree with Rand Paul, certainly not, but I think there is to say that he's just doing this for political purposes or fundraising purposes. Do you really think that's what he's doing here?
I just ask you to watch that Super PAC ad, Steve, and I just think what while his views are real, I believe that he strongly believes in privacy. So I want to make that clear.
Right.
And it's a good point that you made. But when you look at what he's doing with this crisis, or this crisis that he is causing, I think that is a different matter. And I just take this as a serious national security matter. I think it's something we should be debating. And I believe that we have a bill now that has brought people together. And as you know, with the Heritage Foundation
Sure.
has issued a report favorable to the USA Patriot Act. And so it is a bill that was a compromise that brought people together, and he can oppose it, that's fine, and he can try to filibuster if he wants. Those are all things that you're allowed to do as a senator, and I don't for a minute question his views on privacy and how hard he has fought for that. What I do question is using this controversy to raise money and do what I consider to be an offensive ad, given the fact that I've just had a number of people indicted out of Minnesota for trying to go to help ISIS against our country.
Senator Klobuchar, Eleanor here. What are the odds that the USA Freedom Act will pass in the next, 72 hours, 90 hours, next week? We're not looking at this legislation going completely dark, are we?
Well, I think that there is a very good chance, Eleanor, that it will pass in the next few days, just given the strong support and how really strong Speaker Boehner and Leader Pelosi have been in terms of saying we are not going to do another extension here. We want to get this compromise bill passed, and the Senate Democrats have said the same thing, as well as Senator Lee, who I just spoke to about this yesterday, who's been working very hard to try to get some kind of agreement with Senator Paul so we can move forward on this. So yes, I think something like it. In fact, this bill will have to pass so it matches the House if we don't want this to go on beyond a few days. But I still think that makes no sense to not get it done tonight, to let this expire and to sort of start all these procedural problems in place when in fact I believe the votes are here to pass it.
Senator, I wonder if you think the debate on this, both sides of the debate on this, might in some way be overblown. And what I mean is this: when you look at the bulk data collection program from the standpoint of privacy concerns, we're still talking about something that's theoretical. There's no evidence that's emerged that this has been used against anybody politically. Any of this information has been used against anybody personally. On the flip side of it, the people who raise concerns about how this is so vital to our national security, so vital to fighting terrorism, can't point to an example where this has stopped an act of terrorism, where this has thwarted some kind of a plot. So both sides are sort of dealing in very sort of heavy rhetoric of the theoretical sort. Is this an overblown debate in some way?
Well, first of all, there is evidence that when you combine the use of this program with this other section of the law, which allows intelligence officials to track people from foreign countries engaged in terrorist activities, that it has been helpful. Secondly, and let me make this clear, Jim Comey has said last week that this has been used nearly 200 times just last year for FBI purposes, for tracking down business data. So this is separate and apart from the use by the NSA that this data collection is helpful. That being said, I think from a civil liberties and a privacy perspective, it is important to change this law. And the way we're doing it, which our intelligence officials have said works, is to allow the phone companies to keep the data as they do now, and then have a much more specific search term, so that if the government wants to find some data from this metadata, they have to actually go to the phone companies with an account number, with a specific mobile device, with some kind of a address. So they're specifically searching, and it's a targeted search, as opposed to just going through all of the data and housing it in the government. It's a much different approach. The intelligence officials say it will work, and I think it's a much better way to protect civil liberties. So we have struck that balance between protecting civil liberties and going after these evildoers and terrorists.
All right, Senator Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota. Really appreciate you taking a few minutes this morning. Thank you very much.